Are we live?
We are live.
Okay. Welcome. We're tuning in today on this Thursday, Melanated N Business. It's me, just Joci.
And TaWanda with the T.
And we'd like to thank you all for tuning in today. We have our amazing guest for the hour, Mr. Hamilton Hyppolite.
That's right. Said it right.
Look at me.
Hey. I've heard a lot of names growing up, so I appreciate that.
Mr. Hyppolite of Boozy Ice Cream Company. So before we get into his story, his brand, his everything, his get drunk, eat ice cream phenomenon, what's the tea, TaWanda?
Let's talk about success. Success isn't always about greatness. It's about consistency. Consistent hard work leads to success. Greatness will come. So how do you get to success? Success. S, see your goal. U, understand the obstacles. C, create a positive mental picture. C, clear your mind of self-doubt. E, embrace the challenge. S, stay on track. And S, show the world you can do it. Success.
I like it.
Works for me. I like it. How'd you find that? How'd you come up with that?
Just thinking.
I thought she was gonna be like, I got it from the dictionary.
I got the first part was actually a quote by Dwayne Johnson.
Okay.
Right.
That I found. And then I went through the actual the success.
The success.
Like she had a T moment.
It's like we all supposed to know.
Right.
Success.
It's success.
Like I was in the last
the breakdown.
Got it. I'm gonna roll with it. It works. I like that. From now on, I'm gonna be like, so the success.
And you gotta
do it every time.
Yeah. Success.
You gotta bring it
all
in.
comes together.
You gotta bring it. You gotta close your palms.
So they know that you're really grasping the concept of success.
Right. You can't just leave them open.
Right. That means it's just gonna just go past you. You're gonna miss the whole thing about success. But if you close your hands,
you're letting it go.
You close it, you receive it, and you hold it on to it. I like that.
Right.
I'm with it. Sounds nice.
Yeah.
So, getting into our guest for the hour, Mr. Hamilton Hyppolite. You like us to call you Ham?
Ham is good. Ham is good. That's what all my peoples call me, so we can rock with ham.
Cool. We will call you Ham. Ham is good. I like bacon. Yeah.
When people ask me if I eat pork, I'm like, I kind of got to go with the name. So yeah.
They kind of call me Ham. You know what I mean?
That's kind of my thing. I got to. I'll be doing a bacon disservice if I don't.
So, Mr. Hyppolite, tell the people who you are, where you're from, where you originated, some things, just some basic history about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. My family's Haitian, born and raised in Brooklyn. First generation, me and my brothers are first generation born in the States. Moved to Atlanta after 9/11. I came down to visit my old college roommate and saw the fact that he had central air conditioning. And I didn't need to have a radiator in my heat like I did in New York. So I moved. And then was in Atlanta till about 2012, entered into the Air Force. And then as I was coming out my training, needed a job. Volkswagen was hiring up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I've been here 8 years up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So here I am.
What's it like in Chat Town?
It's growing. It's growing. It was slow. It wasn't much to do out here, but because there's no state taxes up here, so a lot of businesses are coming. Like I said, Volkswagen is here where we build the Passat and the Atlases. There's Amazon. Blue Cross Blue Shield headquarters is here, so it's growing. Downtown is nice. So it's along the water. So that's something that people come up here to do outside, like the aquarium, the zoo, and little things like that. So it's definitely some things to do now.
Cool. I didn't know there was no state tax in Chattanooga.
Yeah, that's why I'm here too. No state taxes. So
That's kind of closer than flying to Delaware. So I might, might have to take me a couple trips.
Look, you laugh, but people live here. I know people who live here, but they work in Georgia.
Okay.
You live here, can't charge them state tax, so they do.
Nice. Thank you for that information.
Something to think about. How long is that drive?
2 hours. It's 2 hours to Chattanooga.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Oh, we do that on a regular day.
You do that.
We do that on 285.
Right.
You do 2 hours and no traffic, you good.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Cool. Yeah. So we understand that you have Boozy ice cream. How'd you come up with the name?
Man, so Boozy ice cream kind of came up, during the pandemic. It just got me to thinking. I was fortunate to have a job that employed me, but a lot of what ifs came about during that time. I knew a lot of people that were kind of struggling with work and that sort of thing. So it got me thinking, like, what if something happened to me, or what if something happened to my job? And I just wanted to do something on my own. It's always been a dream to have my own business. I just never knew exactly what. So literally just one day I was having a cigar and a drink, and I was just like, man, ice cream. It was hot outside, and I was like, how can I combine the best of two worlds with ice cream and liquor? And I did some research, and then kind of just Boozy ice cream just kind of came to pass. And I kind of put it out there and just put a filler out there to Facebook and say, hey, if I decided to do this, what does everyone think? Do you think it's a good idea? And I got a lot of good feedback. So never knew how to make ice cream before. Got on the internet, got me a recipe, and it's not even a year in. I think I started it in June of last year, and I think I started making orders in about maybe August, September. So that's it. That's kind of just how it came about. The pandemic just kind of made me think of, wanting to do my own thing. And I have kids too, so I just wanted to do something in order if something happens and it grows, I'll be able to pass it on to my kids. So kind of the thing of just leaving a legacy for them as well. So, and really, I didn't want my daughters to be entrepreneurs and their daddy wasn't, so couldn't have that.
Right. So going back to earlier, you said that you're Haitian, your family's Haitian, you're first generation, I guess, U.S. citizen, Haitian, born in the States. What was that like, growing up as a...
Yo, and you gotta remember, I'm from Brooklyn, so it was a couple of things I had against me at that time growing up. Not only being Haitian, but also, first of all, my name was Hamilton, Hyppolite. So the ridicule was there, you know what I mean? And of course, back in the day, being Haitian, just everyone had something to say about Haitians. It was just, nonstop jokes. It was the way that, people dressed. It was the way we dressed, the way we spoke. And it was, I would say, fortunately, the thing about me and my brother, since we were raised in Brooklyn, we were raised in the New York culture. So we grew up playing ball. So it's like, the neighborhood knew us, but they knew us before they actually found out we were Haitian. So as people found out it was Haitian, we dealt with like I said, a lot of ridicule. So it was tough, but we dealt with it because, again, we played ball. So a lot of people knew us in our area because of that. But outside of that, like, we had Haitian friends. They weren't so fortunate. You know what I mean? It was just, the constant ridicule. It was tough because if you came from Haiti and you migrated to New York, then you still came with the accent. So you came with the heavy Haitian accent. Sometimes you couldn't even speak English. So for my cousins who came from Haiti, as like, my mom was the first one to leave out my family to come to New York. Then me and my brothers were born. Then as my cousins started to come over, they couldn't speak English. So they had to deal with the ridicule. So, it was tough because we all lived in the same area. So me and my brothers constantly found ourselves, sticking up for them and making sure they were okay, fighting for them, that sort of thing. But as time passed, man, it wasn't until Wyclef came out. Once Wyclef came out, Fugees came out, it was like, oh, you know what? Haitians ain't half bad. that kind of gave us that curve, you know what I mean? Like, oh, now everybody want to know about Haitians. Everybody started wanting to get into the culture. And it was crazy because in Brooklyn where I lived, it was nothing but West Indians. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know what American people was. I had no American friends. Everybody was from some island. So it was just hard to really understand as I got older, like, yo, what's the beef? Like, why y'all getting on us? First of all, we were the first free West Indian island out there. But, you know, all that to say, it was interesting. A lot of stories. But like I said, once Wyclef came out and the Fugees dropped, hey, here we are now.
So is your mother an entrepreneur?
No, my mother is a retired registered nurse. She came to the States. She started off as an LPN. She went to school. She did nursing. She worked literally 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. pretty much my entire schooling career until she retired. And she's still in Brooklyn to this day. So it wasn't, I think my oldest brother, well, he's a DJ. He works for transit, but he's a DJ. So I would say he's probably like the first person to kind of show us what doing your own thing outside of working for somebody really looked like. Okay. And then, now it's like my middle brother, he has his own bourbon line. He's the sole distributor for my bourbon, for the vanilla bourbon. My daughters, both my daughters, 25 and 14, they have their own businesses. And a couple of my cousins are, kind of venturing out into their own thing now too. So it's just good to see that my family, from where we've come from and where we are now, just kind of branching out and doing our own thing.
And that's kind of dope that your brother, has a bourbon line, and then the two of you have partnered. We kind of touched on that last week with our guest, Mr. Muhammad, and he talked about how a lot of times when we have businesses, Black-owned businesses, we don't like to partner with each other.
Right.
We like to venture and go get their product versus just supporting each other and kind of aligning our businesses and products accordingly to grow. So I do, that's kind of dope. It kind of builds, to keep you all connected in some form or fashion.
Keep it in the family best as we can.
Right.
So I think, like you said, I think that's the sad thing sometimes. We don't really venture to other Black-owned businesses, you know what I mean, for us to help each other out and build our own community. I'm hoping that can change because, Black folks, we have a lot of knowledge. We have that education. We have that power. If we all truly come together, man, we can, there's a lot we can do. We just have to take that first step and get past the, this person gonna stab me in the back mentality that I see a lot of us, do have, unfortunately.
Right.
Do you ever incorporate any of your Haitian recipes or any specific foods or drinks or anything into your ice cream?
Absolutely. So we have there's a Haitian rum called Barbuka. I actually did one. I got a Haitian mango. I bought that when I got down to Georgia, and I bought it back. And I made a mango ice cream with that rum. It's only seasonal because the store I get it from, they only get the Haitian mangoes typically during the summer. But that's kind of the only thing I'm doing right now. I want to do more. We have a cremas, which is like a Haitian eggnog, which is similar to coquito. It's all the same thing, just a different how you make it is different. So that's two things I've done so far. As I grow and as I start to learn some more things, the different fruits, I definitely want to be able to add my own culture into it. So the rum raisin, that's the whole island thing. That's kind of always been my favorite ice cream, even growing up. So even that, depending on the type of rum I'll use the Haitian rum at times, but that's just variable on the pricing.
Is there a difference between Haitian mangoes in flavor than regular mangoes?
Haitian mangoes are typically on the sweeter side than a regular mango, and it's not as grainy. Okay. Sometimes you get into the mango, got the grain. It's almost like you're flossing your teeth with a regular mango. Haitian mangoes don't have that, and it's a lot sweeter.
Mangoes are sweet.
It just tends to be on the sweeter side.
Okay. So earlier you said you learned how to make ice cream off of YouTube, and I was going to ask you, had it been a hobby that you did maybe with your kids? You just was like, I'm gonna make ice cream, and then you went and YouTubed your life.
Yeah. So, like I said, I wanted to do something that was different, and it wasn't heavily saturated in the entrepreneurial world. I didn't want, I wanted to do something different. And when I started to look around, like, all right, like I said, when alcoholic ice cream, I was like, well, how many other places out there that actually do this? And I could only find like 1 or 2 companies, and they're all in New York. So I'm just like, all right, well, it's hot in the South, 10 months out the year.
Right.
Pandemic, we ain't doing nothing but drinking. So
and hookah,
you know what I mean? Hookah, I smoke cigars, so like hookah and cigar, that's all I got. So I literally went to between YouTube and Google. I just, like I said, I never did ice cream I never made ice cream prior to this. If I did, I was going to the store and buying Haagen-Dazs or Breyers or whatever. But like you said, I YouTube my life away.
Is it a difficult process?
No. It's a lot easier than people think. I think the longest process of making ice cream is the freezing. You can do it with an actual ice cream maker, but that takes a lot longer and a lot more ingredients. I do mine in a KitchenAid mixer. Just mix the ingredients, put it in the freezer, and you're good to go.
So how did you come up with not the concept, but how do you come up with the balance of alcohol to cream mixture?
Yeah, that one kind of took trial and error. So as with alcohol, alcohol doesn't freeze. So even if you mix it with something, at first, when I first started, I was just pouring, like I was just getting happy. But it wasn't freezing to the point that I liked it. You know what I mean? So I was just like, yeah, I don't really like that. So I had to kind of taper back and get that balance, like you said. But it was just literally trial and error. I was making batches after batches after batches until I got to a point like almost like a formula. So I have a formula, in my head that I use. So now when I make the batch, I know exactly the amount of liquor to pour. That way it freezes. And if I deliver it to someone and it starts to defrost, they can still put it into their freezer and it still holds. Not to the point where if it defrosts all the way, it won't freeze up at all.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it took a lot of trial and error.
Well, I had some, and it's very creamy. Like it's a very good consistency.
Thank you.
So however you managed it, that it really works, because it's like most ice cream is a little firm. It's kind of firm,
right? And
it has more of a, I don't want to say gelato, but kind of like a gelato, kind of consistency
sure.
versus versus like a hard ice cream. So
yeah. And it's a dessert, you know what I mean? I want people to be able to enjoy it. And it kind of put me in the thought, like, if you're eating it and you're out and it starts to get soft, if you got a straw, you got yourself a milkshake.
Got a milkshake.
You know what I mean? So it's that's kind of what the purpose of it was. It's really to just enjoy. You know what I mean? That's why I call it a tasty experience, because I want you to be able to experience and be able to enjoy it. You know what I mean? And just have fun with it. If you get drunk off the ice cream, by all means, I think I've done
purpose.
Yeah. Either that, if it's bad, you got liquor in your system, you're like, I'm too drunk to remember what the fuck happened. So it's like
it don't even really matter if it melts or not.
I got liquor. Right. So
So does some liquors mix better than others?
Not necessarily mix better than others, but some liquors have a better taste. Before the vanilla bourbon was like my first one that I did. So before I started using my brother's bourbon, I was using a different variation of bourbon. I was like, well, I don't want to beat too, let me use a cheap bourbon. But then you taste the difference. You know what I mean? And then so I was like, before I started using my brother's, I started using a particular line, and that really tasted well. It blended well with the formula that I use. And then the same thing with my other ice creams. You know what I mean? I wanted to find a flavor. I wanted to find favorite liquor that balanced well with the actual flavor of the ice cream. So to your question, all alcohols will mix the same, but they necessarily won't taste the same with what you make, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes the flavor changes once you add it to the mixture.
So it's important to like now I have the flavors that I have, I use the same type of liquor. I don't deviate from that, because the taste is also important to me as well. So when you taste it, some flavors I have, I try to blend in where I get a flavored liquor that goes with the flavor. So like the banana pudding, I would get like 99 bananas, which is an alcohol, but that flavor is the banana flavor. You know what I mean? I wouldn't put a different type of alcohol in it because it'll throw the whole thing off. You know what I mean? So I try to find something that balances well. So it's a different type of alcohol can definitely change the flavor of the entire recipe.
So when you're going through the mixing process, do you perfect the mixture section first and then add the alcohol, different alcohols, test trial them to see which fits, or do you just do it all together at one time?
No, the first thing I had to do was get the consistency of the ice cream first, because with ice cream, if you mix it too long, the basis of ice cream is also the basis of butter. So if you mix it too long and it almost starts to churn, you start to churning butter. So what I was realizing, I used to leave it too long. So when I was tasting, I used to get that like an oily film. And when I started reading up, and they was like, you're leaving it too long. So once I got that down, then I started adding the different types of liquor. Because once you put the liquor in, it cuts it down anyway. But once you freeze it, if that buttery, that oily taste is in there, you still feel it as you eat the ice cream. And that's the part I did not want to have.
Okay. So how do you come up with your combinations?
I literally just, if I have a flavor, I kind of just sit back and like, what do I think will go well with it? Some of the flavors were easy. So like strawberry rum, easy. Rum raisin, easy. Chocolate, that one, I use a Kahlua and amaretto. That one, actually my daughter gave me that one because I'm not, she was like, ooh, this would be good. So I tried it and that kind of stuck. So like I said, I kind of just looked for flavors that I can also get a flavored alcohol or something that's close to it that can, that I can marry it well together. So that way, when you eat in the ice cream, outside of the vanilla bourbon, where you taste something completely different in taste, where you have the vanilla taste and the bourbon, all the other flavors kind of marriage well because the alcohol is almost similar to what the flavor of the ice cream is.
Got it.
So what's the difference between, I know you say you have, what is it, a coquito?
Coquito.
What's the difference between a coquito and an eggnog?
Coquito's made, well, the coquito I get is made by my homeboy, but he makes it with it's a coconut milk base. So everything with that is coconut. Eggnog is like, I don't make eggnog, but eggnog is, I think it's mostly like whole milk, some eggs and stuff like that. So it's really just the basis of it. That's different. And of course the island. Coquito is more of a Spanish thing. Cremas is a Haitian thing, and eggnog, of course, is here in the States.
Now, is your coquito seasonal?
Yes. Well, right now it's seasonal around Christmas because, of course, with eggnog, all that's usually around Christmas. But the coquito, the guy I was getting it from, he said I can get it year round. But he's in St. Thomas for a while, so it's like, dude, you just left me hanging.
Right. Clearly, I can't get it year round.
Right. You know, I can. I'm just like, dude, you said you was going to do it, and now you're gone. Where you at? So, hopefully when he comes back, we can get right back on it because that one did well during Christmas time.
Yeah, I want to try that.
Yeah, that one did really, really well. So I'm definitely got to get back.
So I knew you were going to say that, like when you said it, you decided that you were going to go with the Boozy ice cream, that you were sitting, because it was a pandemic thing, that you were sitting there and you just happened to have your drink and you was eating the ice cream and it fell in. That would have been the best story ever.
My whole story up there.
Right.
Having ice cream and some bourbon, and it just so happened to topple over, and I mixed.
Now you got to change your whole story up now.
Come on, man. TaWanda, you just gave me a whole new story. I like that. Damn, why did I think about that? A whole dramatic feel to it too, like it happened in slow motion and then boom.
Well, wait a minute.
Yep, there goes my new story right there.
You're based in Chattanooga.
Yes.
You're from New York. Where do the base of your clients come from?
Right now, bulk of my clients are in Atlanta. I get a lot of deliveries in Atlanta. So for Atlanta, I try to deliver on the weekends just to make it easy. But yeah, because I've also, majority of my friends are in Atlanta too. And most of the people I know is in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for, close to 15 years. So I've developed a lot of relationships there. So I have a lot of people supporting me out there. So, that's, hey, that's how we found you. I found you, because one of my friends posted and then you supported, So so as you said to your question, a bulk of my base is in Atlanta right now. I have clients I did an order in Nashville, and of course here locally in Chattanooga, but bulk of my clients are in Atlanta.
Do you stockpile or is everything made to order?
For the most part, I like to make it to order. I usually keep some things stockpiled, like, the strawberry and chocolate, stuff like that. But for the most part, I like to make it to order. Because I don't want it to sit too long. And I just never know, in my mind, I don't want, even though I have a deep freezer and it's sitting in there and it's fine, and it could be fine. But for my preference, I just feel like it's made with more love if I do it to order.
Much love.
Versus picking it out my freezer, I'm like, oh, this is what you're going to get.
So you drive your deliveries, of course, to Nashville and to Atlanta. But let's say I place an order from Mississippi.
So here's the thing with shipping right now. Shipping costs is extremely high. I can do it, and I'm kind of gonna, once I'm in school now. So once my semester is over, I'm gonna kind of want to venture back into that realm. I did do some test deliveries to like New York to my family, but it didn't last. And it's I try to do like ground, and from here to New York, ground is 2 days. But if it's not packed right, and if it doesn't go ground, what happens if they forget? They don't deliver on that day. It's no guarantee. You know what I mean? And to do overnight, now you're talking about anywhere from $30 to $50 for just shipping alone. And even if I do, like I did some research with some other companies, and most of them who ship ice cream, they do a 4-pint minimum. And I'm just like, man, if you do 4 pints at $12 to $15 a pop, then you're paying $30 to $40 on shipping.
Right.
You close to $100 on some ice cream. Now, I'm a huge component of, if you want it, you pay for it. So I think when I first started, I was like, no, I'm new. Nobody's going to buy my ice cream. No one's going to pay that much. But I had friends that were like, yo, we want it. We'll pay for it. You know what I mean? So I said, I got to start getting the mindset that if I want the business to grow, and if it grows, if people want it, they'll pay for it.
Or they can group order. So let's say I want to order, and then TaWanda wants to order, and then I get 3 or 4 of my friends. We all place an order, one big bulk order, and then disperse it, accordingly once it gets to us.
Because it's definitely possible. I mean, everyone does it. You know what I mean? You have Omaha Steaks that does it with their stuff, and so many other companies, they ship frozen food. So it's not impossible, but it's just the shipping. Like I said, when I first started, I just didn't want to beat people over the head with shipping costs.
Right.
But now, I got to grow.
That's right.
Do you pack it? Do you freeze it and then pack it, or do you pack it with like dry ice and ship it?
You mean if I freeze the ice cream first?
Well, no. So do you flash freeze it, or do you just regular freeze it and then ship it with dry ice, or is it just from the freezer and then you seal it and ship it?
No, I would definitely freeze it all the way first and then pack it with dry ice and with dry ice in an insulated box. Pack it real nice and tight, and then ship it.
So that's where the increase of cost on your end comes from, because it's not just a small envelope. Your packing materials start to add up.
It has to be a certain size. So if I'm getting a big container and I'm loading up with dry ice, then now you have the weight. So that raises your price as well. You know what I mean? So a bigger company, they might be able to get discounts from like UPS and all that other stuff. But for someone that just starting out, I'm like, $60.
Right.
You know what I mean, for shipping. But to get it there overnight or something like that, to guarantee it's going to be there and get to you in a manner that you want it. That's unfortunately that's what has to be done.
What is your most popular flavor?
Wow. It was vanilla bourbon when I first started, but I think right now the banana pudding is making its creep. When I look at my sales and just across each flavor, vanilla pudding and vanilla bourbon and banana pudding are probably like neck and neck right now.
Which one did you have, Joci?
Butter pecan rum, right? Is it the rum with the butter pecan?
Yes.
Butter pecan and banana pudding.
Which one you like better?
Hold on, so I gotta turn my light on. Getting dark.
Probably butter pecan because butter pecan is my favorite ice cream. So I'm kind of biased. But yeah, I think I like the butter pecan better. Then I like the combination. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
The smoothness
even that one was like a trial and error because butter pecan is literally. See, when I first started, I only had 4 flavors. I only had vanilla bourbon, rum raisin, strawberry, and chocolate. The other flavors that I had were literally people asking me if I could make it. I'm always up for a challenge. So the next flavor that came up was butter pecan. So I was like, "Whoa, back to YouTube and get my education on, see how I can make this." And it was a trial and error. I damn near burnt my house down trying to roast some pecan. Yeah, it was like those things you never realize. Like that stuff is when you start to realize like there's a lot more to ice cream than just your simple base. So vanilla, easy. Anyone can make that. But when you start getting into these flavors and mixing it and the taste and all that, that's when you're like, all right, there's a lot more to this thing than meets the eye.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that one right there, I'll never forget.
I think you would not.
I will not forget butter pecan, boy.
What's your favorite one to make?
I would say banana pudding. Only because banana pudding is also one of my favorite desserts, and I use the chessman cookies in my banana pudding. Now I can't make a real banana pudding, but the ice cream. So it was just with that I had to do a lot of experimenting and finding which alcohol would work, and which one, how like I actually use vanilla pudding in there as well. You know what I mean? So it's just an experience when I do it. So finding out the recipe for that and like finding my own formula, versus what they have online, that sort of thing. It's fun because I gotta get some chessman cookies. I have a little beater. I gotta break the cookies up and sprinkle them in and do all this other thing. And I got music in the background playing. So it's, I don't know, something about the banana pudding just makes me want to dance every time.
A nice experience.
You know what I mean? I'm just making it. It's not like, but then when I taste it, it's like, yeah, I think I did good on that.
Cool. Questions, T?
Was it hard to get started in the middle of COVID?
As far as setting up the business or like the sales?
Both.
From the selling aspect, it wasn't difficult. I mean, starting a business, you just literally got to go to your Secretary of State website, fill out the information, pay your fees, and all that other stuff. I think for me in Tennessee is a lot different than Georgia as far as how you start a business because there's a lot more details you have to go into. So like every month I have to fill out a tax report and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? It's just a lot. Like I'm in between lines of switching my business to Georgia because Georgia just once a year and get it over with. The sales, that part wasn't hard. Once I posted it up, like I said, a lot of people from Atlanta supported me. They were ordering like crazy. I think at one point, a friend of mine, he works with FedEx, and I was delivering just to them about 30 to 40 pints per week to his house so he can take to work. And it's one of those, as long as I keep posting, somebody else like, oh man, I didn't know. And then, as people, grow their own friend base and they start to share, then other people start to see, and it just kind of draws interest. So I think from a difficulty standpoint, it's just the difficult part for me right now, of course, is the delivery, because I'm delivering it. So it's the driving all around and all that other stuff, which is good. I don't get me wrong, it's enjoyable, but boy, when I come back home, I'm like, phone off, I'm going to sleep. But yeah, I would say that's probably the most difficult part.
Have you considered partnering with one of the food delivery services?
You mean like an Instacart or DoorDash type of deal? I didn't think about that, only because since I'm locally, it might be easy to do, but I don't know, I would have to kind of do some research to see how that would work. I thought about like even down to like Amazon Prime or something like that, but that's kind of like in the forecast as I grow, just to kind of see how I can do it, because I would like to have a shop, something set up in Atlanta. That way, whether, if someone orders, they can come there and pick it up. Even if I'm here in Tennessee, I can have somebody in Georgia make it, and then they can pick it up there, versus me having to make it, drive it, and all that other stuff. Especially, like I said, to Atlanta, to Georgia, I only deliver on the weekends.
Got it. So what are the future plans for Boozy Ice Cream? What do you have going on this summer and going forward?
So I'm in a process of rebranding. Rebranding in the sense that when I first started, I used to use, your typical container, ice cream container. Then I changed to the container that you got, which is the black plastic bottle. But moving down the line, I have goals of, I want to get a small, like not quite a food truck, but like those small trailers that I can attach to like the back of a truck, but I can sell out of. So the goal is to have what's called the ice cream barler. So I can have it set up where if you come up to the window, I have liquor behind me. You tell me what liquor you want, what flavor you want, and how you want it, and I'll make it on the spot. There's this ice cream machine that I can make a nitrogen ice cream machine. Nitrogen freezes to about -307 degrees, so I can make it literally right there.
Right.
So that's kind of in my plans now. I'm working on getting that trailer, getting the deep freeze. That's all I need. And once I get that machine, and like I said, I get my liquor license, and I just start having my liquor lined up, and you'll come up, you tell me, like I said, what liquor you want, what flavor you want, and I'll make it right there on the spot. And then from there, I want to start doing like fairs, food, like Georgia has the food park. I want to go to the beaches like Panama City, Destin, Myrtle Beach, and, do little pop-ups like that, and then, throughout the summer. So that's kind of my goal. And hopefully by June, I'll have that ready to rock and roll.
Right now, I do want to say congratulations. It's going to work. It's, it's going to take work, it take time, but it's a great concept because success. But you have a concept that I haven't seen anywhere. Exactly. So, that makes it very unique and definitely in demand. It's always hot. It's always hot in the South. So, there's nothing better than alcohol and ice cream. So, and that aspect, congrats in advance.
Thank you.
And then I forgot my whole total question. So, I'm gonna put a pause right there until I remember my question. Or we're gonna scoot on over to T.
So, have you thought about? There's what is it? It's a black owned wine festival that's here. I have to get it because it's my friend that puts it on. I got to get the name of it. What about getting with them and just having your batches ready to sell at the event? That'll be cool.
Can do that too. I actually just did a 400 half pint catering deal for somebody in Nashville. So while I sell by the full pint, I can also do half pints for something like that. Because if, usually in a situation like that, no one was going to walk around with a full pint of ice cream. But a half pint, you can kill that.
I kill a full pint.
Try to help you out here. But again, for situation, events like that.
Eating it and you'll start feeling it. You won't even know that you done killed that whole pint that quick.
Yeah. That's valid. That's valid. But yeah, I mean, something like that I would love to do. I mean, somebody asked me if I can do something with wine, like a sorbet. I mean? So that's something that I kind of want to tinker with too, almost like if I could do something like sangria. Something like that. That'd be like a brunch, and for like brunches and stuff like that. So, if I can partner up with them, by all means, I would be more than happy to.
Well, make sure you tune in next week. We do have a black wine company. So maybe the two of y'all can work together.
Right on time, then I definitely will be there next week.
I remember my question. Is pint the only size that you sell? And you mentioned that for events you do a half pint, but do you also sell in a half pint? Do you sell in a gallon, half gallon?
As far as distribution and selling, I only sell in the pint. I can sell in larger quantities. I just haven't had anyone ask for a quart or half gallon or a gallon.
Okay.
The half pints I would have to tinker with that for the sake of like delivery and all that, just kind of see if it's truly worth it. Because again, coming from Georgia, just for one half pint, I don't really think it's beneficial. As far as what you pay for a delivery fee and a half pint. You might at that point, you might just get a full pint. Now, if you want a bulk order of half pints, we can make that happen. So if it's ordered and somebody wants it, then absolutely. Like I said, the order I did in Nashville was all half pints, but they ordered 400. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah. If you're doing it like that, you can get a quarter of a pint if you want. So
how do people order?
You can order. You can check out my IG, it's Boozy_ice cream, or on Facebook, it's a Mellow Scoop, and then shoot me an email at orders@boozyicecream.net. And then you can see the flavors that I have. I have 8 flavors and 1 seasonal. Hopefully, should be permanent, depending on if my boy ever comes back from St. Thomas.
What's the turnaround time? I know you deliver to Atlanta or to Georgia. Let me take that back. You deliver outside of Chattanooga on weekends. Let's hypothetically say I'm in Chattanooga. What's the turnaround time on the orders?
So if you're in Chattanooga, it's 48 hours. And that's, again, if you order something that I don't have on stockpile. Typically because I like to make it and then let it sit in my deep freezer for a couple of days. That way I know it's nice and frozen, and then I can deliver it to you. Right now, with my full-time job, I have the flexibility of working from home, so my delivery dates to Atlanta will vary. I can deliver sooner. If I end up going back to work full-time and in the office, then that'll be go back to the weekend. But outside of that delivery time can vary, because I've been down to make delivery sometimes during the week as well. So
cool.
Have you thought about linking up with a liquor store down here? And just like doing your deliveries weekly?
I don't think I thought about that. I'd have to see how that works. I know once you start getting into, I did look at that once, actually. I think once you start getting into distribution with stores, you can only sell up into a certain percentage of alcohol in your ice cream, I believe. And I might be mixing up. I know if I'm shipping, I can only do up to like 5% or something like that, alcohol by volume for the ice cream, because it's food, so it's considered food. It might be different with stores, so that's a good point. I may have to look into that. If I could, that'll be dope, because if I can just deliver to stores, I think that would help as far as one, not only sales, but just getting it out to more people. People that I necessarily wouldn't be able to reach, because not everybody may be on social media, but I guarantee those people probably going to the liquor store. So if I can have them in a liquor store, oh man, that's a great idea. I have to look into that and write that down too.
So are you? You are so funny. So I know you want to do the pop-up shops with your. What did you call it? You did
trailer.
You're right. With your
I don't know. It sounds like I'm moving a trailer.
You call it a barler.
A barler.
Yeah.
Barler.
Yeah. So I know you want to do the pop-up shops with the barler, but prior to getting the actual barler, will you be doing any pop-up shops just with prepared pints of ice cream and you're just selling kind of on site?
I thought about that, and I think I might do that this year. One thing I wanted to kind of factor in was I don't want to be somewhere where I can't keep the ice cream cold for a long amount of time. It's different when I'm delivering to someone's house because I know it's going from me to you to your freezer. Whereas if I just have it in an insulated cooler, that's only going to keep it cool but so long. So if I say, hey, I'm a pop-up shop, now I got to sit around and wait in the heat, for people to come. So one thing I wanted to kind of do was my deep freezer is movable. Like I can, it's mobile, so I can move it. But I also want to look into getting a generator. So if I did that, I know I can lug that on my back, back of a truck, load up my generator and keep it frozen. So if I say, hey, and even if I'm there all day, my generator is still good, the ice cream will still be frozen. You know what I mean? That way, because if you're coming to get it and now you got to take it back home, not only did it sit out there, now you got to travel back with it. By the time you get home, man, you might just call that bad boy a milkshake. And if you want it right away, now you got to wait for it to freeze. Now you got to, you know what I mean? So, but that definitely is an idea. I even thought about even getting down to insulated bags. So if I do that as a pop-up, as your gift, you get a Boozy ice cream insulated bag so you can travel with it and keep it cool till you get home. So that's kind of on the rebranding and, the marketing thing that I want to do as well.
Or what about the carts that, the Hispanics have little carts that they be going through the neighborhoods with the ice cream.
That's what we're doing today.
Right, but that'll go with the that'll work. That'll work.
Ice cream, homes and liquor.
That's what we're doing today, T.
What? But we can push that in the pop-up shop instead of taking that deep freezer.
It's not a bad idea though.
It'll work.
I mean, it's literally.
I love them ice creams out that cart. Don't say nothing.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea because you're literally pushing around a freezer.
Right.
All they have is a big block of ice in there. So essentially it's not a bad idea. I didn't say it. No, I'm just.
I grew up in Norcross.
Right.
I already know.
That was kind of racist, but I'm going to let it ride.
Ain't nobody else walking around with ice cream carts.
King of Pops.
I don't know nothing about King of Pops.
Mm-hmm.
They walk around with carts.
They don't walk. It's kind of walking around, but not really. But they stationary, you were. So that's why I asked about the stationary. They're kind of just set up individual freezers, basically, in the middle of anywhere. And maybe they're small, but I don't know how they keep the freezer, keeping the popsicles frozen. But
popsicles are easy to freeze though. It's they're not. Cause do they put alcohol in there? Yeah. So that's your temperature in the freezer doesn't have to be as cold for a pop.
Got it.
Than it does. It does have to be like ice cream because ice cream you gotta get it, especially with alcohol. You have to damn near get it, close to anywhere below negative 3 or 4 to really get it frozen.
Got it.
Anything on 0, 1, 2 degrees, it'll freeze it, but they won't get it that frozen.
So for someone who is I want to make ice cream, not necessarily alcohol ice cream, but someone who wants to make ice cream, what would you tell them, or what things helped you figure it out?
It's with anything. It's like finding the recipe and finding your niche that works best for you. I tried both ways. I tried the long way with the ice cream machine, but for me, it's too much work because you have to use the stove to cook something down and put in the ice cream maker and let it churn and all that other stuff. That was just way too much work for me. So, literally 3 ingredients, throw it all in the mixer. It's quick and easy. Some people may not like it, like I said, with ice cream or just with food. It's just like with cooking. You find your niche, you find what works for you, you find what makes you comfortable, to do. And if however you end up making it, that's what it is. So it's if I say if I can do it, anybody can do it. Because I literally did not know what the hell I was not an ice cream maker whatsoever. So this wasn't something I've been doing for years, or I know how to make ice cream from young. I can eat ice cream. I'm a foodie, but I wasn't making it.
So tell the people again where they can find you.
You can find me on IG, Boozy_ice cream, or Facebook, a Mellow Scoop. If you want to order, you can send me an email at orders@boozyicecream.net.
And do you sell merch on or can they buy your t-shirts?
I don't have it yet, but if you want it, you can definitely shoot me an email and I will have one made for you. I do shirts. You can do shirts, hoodies, hats. I plan on getting some more out. Hold on, I can show you what else I have. Got my apron. I don't know why, but just in case I splash myself with my own ice cream. If you golf, I have the golf bags for you, the golf towel that you can hang on your golf clubs. So yeah, merchandise is coming. That's kind of all a part of the rebranding. I also have face masks. I don't think anybody want to walk around with Boozy Ice Cream face masks, but you'd be surprised how much. It's definitely a conversation piece.
I'll get with the what is it? The country clubs too.
Yeah. Well, to your point,
you got the golf. I
went out to eat, and whenever I go out, I either have my shirt on or my hoodie on, just like my own free marketing. Somebody that works at a golf course is having a fundraiser in a couple of weeks, and they asked me if I wanted to, sponsor a hole, and I can just have all my stuff on the hole and all my, sell my ice cream. So I want to get some of these golf clubs, some of the golf towels made, so I can sell it on the on the hole.
Cool,
nice.
Yeah, merchandising and marketing.
Be everywhere.
Look, I look at it. I am my own billboard right now.
That's
much as I can. This is my uniform. So, yeah.
I would like to thank you for being here today. Just educating us about kind of the ice cream making process, and just your journey. And I, congratulate you again on starting a business in the middle of a pandemic, and just venturing out and creating a legacy for your family and creating, something different amongst the Black and brown community that we can cherish and call our own. So in that, I do thank you. Make sure that you follow up, place an order, contact him, get some ice cream, call a friend, send it to a friend. Mother's Day is coming. Those Mother's Day brunches.
Yes.
I have some ice cream. Mom's like liquor and ice cream.
Yes.
We hide from our kids and we eat ice cream.
Don't let your kids eat this ice cream. Keep them away from your kids.
They'll go to sleep.
We hide from the kids. I didn't say don't listen to TaWanda. We don't give our children alcoholic ice cream. We don't do that.
We don't condone that.
PSA to the community and Mothers Against Drunk. Don't email us or nothing. I will send you her email directly, but don't email us about her.
Please don't email me. Don't email me to my you selling the kids.
I'm trying to give the whole little spiel. The statements above are the individual opinions of only.
When the FCC don't get up at you,
okay?
Gotcha.
Gotta get us shut down. Yeah. But yes, place an order, contact him, get an order, send it to someone. Just try it out. Support another Black-owned business. If you know someone who has a business who is interested, or you want to send them over to the show, have them spotlight their brand and their business, and have them email me, please, at justjoci at melanatednbusiness.com. Contact information is below. On that note, I don't have anything extra. I do thank you all for tuning in on this amazing, amazing Thursday, taking your time to view and listen to our guest of the hour, share his story. And on that note, I am done and out. Anything for you, T?
Thank you. Y'all be sure to like and share our live. Also, if you want to check out our link tree at Melanated N Business to check out our podcast locations. And also, we have a website, y'all. There it is, melanatedbusiness.com. You can also go there if you want to hook up with Joci to be spotlighted on our show.
No, not hook up. I don't really like.
No, you can hook up with Joci too.
I'm so sick of you.
She done gave your website a whole new meaning now.
Right. If you want to hook up with Joci, just go to.
We about to check out on the
But see, you can connect too.
No, you're gonna connect. There's no two.
Right,
We're connecting. We're not hooking up. This is the kind of melanated in business we doing.
That's it. You done said hook up. I don't know what else comes after that.
Right. So the light skinned girl said.
Right.
The Joci.
The light skinned chick said hook up.
Hook up.
What we gonna do? And then she said connect after. Oh, okay. Ooh, I get it now. Hidden undertones on the
our IG. Follow us on IG at Melanated N Business. Share, follow, like. You gonna put the IG up, T?
No.
Okay. I'll
put the link tree back up.
Okay.
You can get to the link to the IG, the Facebook, the Apple, every podcast that we're on through the link tree.
Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and we're on quite a few others. So thank you again for tuning in. You all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we will see you next week, same time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Success.
Success.